chords. So power chords aren't actually chords, since they're just two notes that you're playing. So just what the heck is a power chord? Well, it's a foundation of rock and roll, and it's not actually a chord because it's only two notes. It's actually an interval. So what an interval is any amount of space on the major scale. So with the major scale here, power chord is going to be denoted on tablature as an A5 or an E5 or a G5 because you're playing E and the fifth. So the fifth is going to be on E right here. So an E5 power chord, which is one of our open power chords, looks like this, where you're playing the open E string, and then you're playing on the second fret of the A string or the fifth string. Now, that's only two notes. You can also cheat a little bit, play the full version, which is essentially the unison. So it's the same notes there, slightly out of tune. Just play those three notes instead of the two notes if you'd like. Not necessary at all. Part of the beauty of playing a power chord with just the one and the five is that you can do things like that without having to hold down a whole bunch of notes. So for an A power chord, it's going to be the A open and the second fret of the D string here. And those are your open power chords. You can also play the D5 up here as well, but usually people are going to slide to that one. Anyways, like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video, and feel free to leave a comment. I'll try and answer all of them, and it helps me know what I hit on, what I didn't hit on, and how I can make these videos better, and if you're enjoying the content as well. So for movable power chords, because you probably want to play something other than E, A, and D, this is all going to look the same here. So we're going to start with one on B. So you hold down the second fret in this case, and then that interval here is going to be the fourth fret with your ring finger. So you have your first finger here and your third finger here. First finger on the A string, second fret, third finger on the D string, fourth fret. And then you just play those two notes that you're holding down. And you can see when I'm playing power chords, I'm only doing downstrokes. That's generally the method because folks like to do really fast things. And with this power chord, it's movable. All the way down to the open power chord. It is also the same on the E string. So second fret on the E string, fourth fret on the A string. And with that in mind too, these can be moved anywhere, right? Across those two strings. And since they can really be moved anywhere, you have a lot of latitude in where you want to play them. So the root is always going to be where your first finger is. So in this case, this is a G power chord or a G5. This is an F sharp power chord or an F sharp 5. F5 or F power chord. And that's how you play power chords. Definitely work on the right hand a little bit too. With the right hand, you're going to want to do a quick chop. And another really common technique is palm muting. So people like to palm mute these a lot. You've probably heard songs like My Stepping Stone and things like that. A lot of palm muting in there. And the reason for this and for power chords just being really important and key in rock and roll is they don't have a ton of harmonics. So I'm going to turn on two distortion pedals here. And by having both of those on, I'm going to play an open chord. So I'm going to play an open G. There's a lot going on there. It's a little bright, but if we change this to a G5 instead of the open G chord, sounds great. Sounds like rock and roll. You can also do the full by adding the pinky here on the 5th fret on the next string up when you are on the lowest string. This is another reason that people love it for rock and roll. It sounds really cool. So with power chords, they're foundation rock and roll because of how they lack some of those additional harmonics that, for instance, an open G chord, open B, open A chord might have, and it translates really well to the heavy use of distortion and playing at loud volumes. It'll prevent feedbacking quite to the same degree, or you can control the feedback a little better too. For beginners, learning power chords is going to be really fun because it'll allow you to cheat a little bit too. So you might not be able to pull down a full F sharp bar chord here, but you can hold down those 2 notes, and then you can see actually being in this position, this is your F sharp bar chord versus the power chord. So the bar chord here is just holding down all the strings instead of just the one. So it's actually starting to strengthen your hand and get it into position for playing those full bar chords on both the E string and the A string. So you can see this is on the A string, this is on the E string, that's an F sharp major, that's a B major. I hope this helped you understand why power chords are so important. They can help you lead to bar chords as well as help you learn a ton of rock and roll songs. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I'm going to take you out with some power chords.